Right, let's take you to this story now. The Senzo Meyiwa murder trial has been adjourned in the High Court in Pretoria. Police Officer Sizwe Zungu was the witness on the stand today. Zungu was speaking on the whereabouts of some accused on the night that Senzo Meyiwa was killed. Let's go to eNCA's reporter Manqoba Mchunu, who's in court for us, and he joins us now live. Manqoba, I must have missed it towards the long adjournment at lunchtime there. I didn't realize that it's adjourned until tomorrow. Before we discuss what Mr. Zungu had to say, or Colonel Zungu had to say there in the dock, tell me why we're seeing an adjournment until tomorrow.
Well, Maseko, from what you understand is that there was a discussion that was held in chambers between the two parties here in court, the defense as well as the state, as far as this testimony is concerned in court. And from those engagements, we understand that there was an agreement then that they reached that the cross-examination is likely not to begin today. And this is what we understand, in fact, was the gist of that conversation, that they are going to lead evidence at the state, that is, and then cross-examination will only commence tomorrow. So we got to understand towards the end of the proceedings, just as Zungu was about to wrap his testimony and the state leading, of course, that particular testimony, and actually we heard from the state advocate George Baloyi indicating that according to the engagement that they've had, this is why they'll then request that there's an early adjournment. So we're expecting, of course, that cross-examination is going to resume tomorrow when this case does ultimately resume. But of course we heard quite a lot of testimony here in this court implicating the accused as far as the murder of Senzo Meyiwa is concerned, and of course damning revelations being made here in court today.
From 8:30 to 9:30.
Okay, if I remember well, later that day, between 8:30 and 9:30, I was seated inside the hostel.
Where?
I was seated on the right, facing the door.
Yes, where? At which place?
In the main room.
But is it in the common area of the hostel, or does it belong to a specific person?
Common area. The common area.
Yes.
Yebo. It was late in the afternoon. It was dark. Yebo.
One, they accused number 1, number 2, number 3.
Accused number 1, 2, and 3 came in following each other. It was quite clear, or they were showing that they were in shock, and they were fast going towards Kwabini's room.
I
stood up and followed them. When I went inside Kwabini's room, the light went off.
Yeah, just a minute.
Okay. When I came in there, and Gaza was on the other side of me, and then Muzi was on this side of me.
Just a minute. If you say Gaza, who are you referring to?
Accused number 3.
Yes, Muzi.
Accused number 1.
And Mafiga accused number 3. And Mafiga accused number 3. When I looked at them, both Gaza and Muzi were carrying firearms, or in possession of firearms. Mafiga was the only one who was not having a firearm.
Yes, just once again, please refer to their numbers.
Accused number 1 and accused number 3.
Accused number 1 and accused number 3.
Accused number 1 is social 38
Accused number 1 was carrying a firearm of a 38 revolver.
And accused number 3 was carrying a 9mm.
Accused number 3 was in possession of a 9mm.
And of course, the evidence that was given by Zungu there this morning, Manqoba, quite damning in terms of placing all the accused in phosphorus on the night that Senzo Meyiwa was murdered. Just tell us more with regards to that.
Well, crucially, I think, Masiko, that is exactly where it is, the evidence pointing to the fact that all of these accused had known each other, firstly, and that they all had been in phosphorus on the night that Senzo Meyiwa was shot and killed. So we understand now that these accused were in one particular hostel in phosphorus, and there had been a gathering that was taking place there, and Zungu saying that he had been invited to that particular gathering by his nephew, and upon arrival there, this is when he had then found some of these accused. But he says he knows these accused from before. He knows accused number 1, Muzi Sibia, from home. He's his neighbor. But also he knows accused number 2. He refers to him as Mafika. He says he knows him from the area of KwaNongoma, where they all hail from. But as far as accused number 3, 4, and 5, he says he knows these accused at Phosphorus. And he also detailed, Vaseko, what had happened on that particular day, saying that at some point in the evening, while they were feasting on the meat and the alcohol, the 3 of the accused, or in fact all of the accused, had disappeared. And he says it was around about 8:30 in the evening when 3 of them had then come back into the house. They looked shocked, and they were in a haste going into a bedroom at the hostel, which was the bedroom of his nephew Kwabini. And he says when he inquired and he followed them into that room, this is when he had then discovered these particular accused carrying these firearms. But he also gave a crucial information that I think is crucial to this case, because you remember, Maseko, that we've heard evidence here in court that seems to suggest that one of the people that had gone inside the house, or the intruders that had gone inside the house, had been wearing a hoodie on the night that Senzo Meyiwa had been shot. To understand, this was a tall intruder, and he's the one that had brandished a knife, according to some of the evidence that we've heard in court. And what we understand now is that one of those accused, Bongani Ntanzi, had in fact been wearing a jacket, or a hoodie jacket, on that particular night. He says that he had changed this jacket and he had worn another jacket when he saw him the second time, and this particular jacket also had a hoodie. But let's take a listen to that piece of evidence and what he had to say regarding Bongani Ntanzi's appearance on that night.
And Bongani Ntanzi does fit that description, Manqoba, but we have to let it go.